Hotels are meant to be places of comfort and rest, but sometimes they hide dark secrets. Today, we're diving into 3 spine-chilling hotel horror stories, all caught on Cctv. Story 1. The Elevator Game. The story I'm about to tell you led to the most chilling CCTV footage ever recorded. This is the case of Elisa Lam. Elisa Lam was a beautiful, young, and intelligent college student from Vancouver, Canada, born in 1991 to Chinese immigrant parents. Elisa was an avid blogger who loved fashion and connecting with people online. Despite her vibrant exterior, she struggled with bipolar disorder and depression. Her parents were understandably concerned about her traveling alone, but Elisa was determined to embark on her West Coast tour. In January 2013, Elisa set off on her adventure. Traveling from San Diego to Los Angeles, she arrived in LA on January 26th and checked into the Cecil Hotel. The Cecil Hotel, located near Skid Row, had a notorious reputation. The area was crime-ridden, and the hotel itself had a dark history, connecting to murders and numerous suicides. Initially, Elisa shared a hostel-style room with other travelers, but her roommates complained about her odd behavior, leading the hotel staff to move her to a private room. Throughout her journey, Elisa kept in touch with her parents daily, but on January 31st, the day she was supposed to check out, she went silent. Her worried parents contacted the LAPD, who launched an extensive search effort. Despite plastering her photos all over the city, Elisa remained missing. The police launched an extensive search, interviewing hotel staff, guests, and local businesses. The hotel staff mentioned that she had been moved from the shared room to her own room. They also told that Elisa seemed to be minding her own business, and she was by herself for the most part, and she just seemed like a totally normal guest of the hotel. One bookstore owner, who was one of the last to see her, mentioned that Elisa had come in to buy gifts for her family. As days passed with no sign of her, they reviewed hours of surveillance footage, hoping to find clues about Elisa's whereabouts. Then, they released surveillance footage from the hotel's elevator. The footage, which quickly went viral, showed Elisa acting bizarrely, pressing all the elevator buttons, peeking out into the hallway, and making strange hand movements as if interacting with someone unseen. The footage only deepened the mystery. 2 weeks after Elisa's disappearance, hotel guests started complaining about low water pressure and a foul taste in the water. Some reported the water initially running black before clearing up. On February 19th, so this is now 2 weeks after her disappearance, after getting all of the complaints about the water, Santiago Lopez, a maintenance worker for the Cecil Hotel, goes up to the roof to check on the water. He opens up the water tank to see what's going on, and there, lying in the water, is the body of Elisa Lam. In order for Elisa to get to the roof, she would need to get through a door that has an alarm set, so she would have to know the alarm code, and if she didn't, she would have triggered the alarm, which would have been heard by everyone. An alternative path is, she could have taken the fire escape. But that's a fairly obvious move, and someone would definitely noticed her doing so and would have stopped her. Assuming she even could get on the roof unnoticed, either by knowing the code to the door, or using the fire escape. The tank is actually about 10 feet off the ground, and in order to get to the tank itself, she would need to use a ladder, and there weren't any ladders present. Assuming she manages to climb onto the tank without the use of a ladder, there are then these heavy lids on the surface of these tanks, and the opening to the tank isn't particularly large, so she'd have to wriggle her way into the tank, and then once she is in, it would be nearly impossible to shut the tank again. When Santiago Lopez went up there, the latch to the lid was undone, but the lid was covering the tank. So the mystery of how she managed to bypass the alarm, climb onto the water tank without the use of a ladder, open the lid and then wriggle inside of the tank itself and shut the lid remains perplexing. This is the last footage we have of her alive. And what's even stranger is probably right after this video is taken, she goes to the rooftop, and she ultimately dies. So we're looking at the last few moments of Elisa's life. The mystery of Elisa Lam at the Cecil Hotel has puzzled both amateurs and professionals. Some argue that her odd behavior and complaints from her roommates suggest a psychotic break, which led to her strange actions on CCTV. Others believe it was a complicated suicide, while some even propose paranormal theories. The bizarre circumstances make it hard to accept her death as an accidental drowning. The coroner's report is being re-examined, but no clear answers have emerged. What do you think happened to Elisa Lam? Drop your chilling theories in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Subscribe to my channel.
Story 2. The Vanishing Passenger. We see Lars in his final moments, on CCTV at an airport from multiple camera angles, surrounded by numerous witnesses, with a lot of information about the events leading up to it. From doctors, friends, and others, no one knows what happened to him or where he is. So let's dive in. On June 30th, 2014, Lars Mittank and 4 of his friends, all in their 20s, left northern Germany, where they lived and worked, and made their way to Bulgaria. They stayed at a popular seaside resort called the Golden Sands, planning to enjoy a nice week-long vacation. Everything was going great. They were going to clubs, feasting, and generally having a good time, until the end of the trip. On one of the last days, July 6th, Lars was at a local bar watching a soccer game. He voiced his support for one team, which led to an argument with locals supporting the other team. The altercation escalated quickly, but Lars' friends intervened before it turned physical. Later that night, Lars and his friends went to a McDonald's. Lars chose to stay outside while his friends went in to get food. When they came out, Lars was gone. His friends waited for him, but he never showed up. So they assumed he might have returned to the hotel to crash early. But when they got back, Lars wasn't there either. The next morning, Lars returned with a bizarre story. He claimed that a group of men, whom he thought were either Russian or locals, had attacked him. He was convinced they were sent by the people he had argued with at the bar. His friends found his story confusing since the timeline and details didn't add up, but they decided to move on as they were leaving that day anyway. Lars mentioned he got hit in the ear during the scuffle, so his friends advised him to see a doctor before flying home. Lars visited a doctor who diagnosed him with a perforated eardrum. The doctor recommended surgery, which Lars refused, opting instead for antibiotics. The doctor also warned him that flying could worsen his condition and suggested he delay his return by a few days. Lars informed his friends, who offered to stay with him, but Lars insisted they go ahead and he would follow in a few days. So his friends flew back to Germany while Lars stayed behind, booking a room at a cheap hotel called the Hotel Color near the airport. Around midnight, Lars called his mother, asking her to cancel all his bank cards. Confused, she agreed. A few hours later, he called again, whispering that he was being followed by men who wanted to kill him. His mother could tell he was terrified but didn't know what to do. Lars spent the night pacing the hotel corridors, hiding in elevators, and even leaving the hotel for an hour before returning. At 6 a.m., Lars took a taxi to the airport. The driver noted that Lars seemed off and his pupils were dilated. At the terminal, Lars texted his mother, who suggested he see the airport doctor. The CCTV footage shows Lars entering the doctor's office, where he was examined and told he could fly. However, when a construction worker entered the room, Lars panicked and yelled. Then he fled the office, abandoning his belongings. The cameras captured Lars sprinting out of the airport, crossing the parking lot, scaling a barbed wire fence, and disappearing into the woods. He was never seen again. Theories about Lars' disappearance include a possible reaction to his antibiotics, although records show he never filled the prescription. Another theory is that he suffered a traumatic brain injury during the fight, leading to erratic behavior. Some suggest a psychotic break triggered by stress, while others believe he might have decided to start a new life in the wilderness, though searches yielded no evidence of this. Despite extensive efforts by his family and investigators, Lars remains missing. His case continues to baffle and intrigue those who follow it. Story 3. Frozen Fate. On September 8, 2017, 19-year-old Kenneka Jenkins, along with 3 friends, drove to the Crowne Plaza Hotel in Chicago, Illinois. It was a Friday night, and they had been invited to a large birthday party on the 9th floor of the hotel. They arrived around 11 p.m., and by the time they reached room 926, the place was bustling with friends. Music blared and drinks flowed freely. As the night wore on, a witness would later tell police that when they hugged Kenneka, she could barely stand due to her level of intoxication. Another witness noted that while everyone else was up and dancing, Kenneka was slumped on the side, too drunk to stand. Around 3 a.m., Kenneka and her 3 friends decided it was time to leave. Security cameras captured them in the hallway heading down to the lobby. It was there that Kenneka realized she didn't have her car keys or her phone. Her friends, who were not as intoxicated, told her to stay in the lobby while they went back up to the room to search for her belongings. They found her purse containing her phone and keys after a few minutes, but when they returned to the lobby, Kenneka was gone. Assuming she had gone to the car, they headed to the parking lot, but she wasn't there. They then called Kenneka's mother, explaining that they had left the party and couldn't find Kenneka. Though they had her phone and keys, they reassured her that everything seemed fine. But Kenneka's mother was immediately concerned, sensing something was off. She insisted she was coming to the hotel to find her daughter. Arriving at the hotel around 5 a.m., 2 hours now after Kenneka was said to be missing, Kenneka's mother went straight to the front desk, asking to see the security footage to determine where Kenneka had gone. The hotel staff were immediately unhelpful, stating they couldn't show the footage without an official missing person report, a claim which later found to be totally untrue. Frustrated, Kenneka's mother left to call the police, requesting their help to access the security footage. The police initially dismissed her concerns, suggesting Kenneka had likely gone to another room and would turn up soon. They advised waiting a few hours before filing a report. Understandably frustrated, Kenneka's mother returned to the hotel and began searching herself, going door to door on the 9th floor, asking if anyone had seen Kenneka. For hours, she knocked on doors, moving floor by floor, but found no trace of her daughter. At 1:15 p.m., 10 hours now after Kenneka vanished, the hotel management called the police on her, claiming she was trespassing. When the police arrived, Kenneka's mother begged them to review the security footage. The police obliged, but the footage they saw was only of the entrances and exits, and it showed Kenneka entering the hotel, but not leaving. This seemed to satisfy the hotel staff and police, who then told Kenneka's mother there was nothing more they could do, and chasing her out of the hotel. Kenneka's mother was not allowed inside the hotel and had to wait, growing more desperate as hours passed. Police returned later that night at 10 p.m., 17 hours after Kenneka disappeared, to review the footage again. This time, they expanded their review beyond the exits and discovered footage of Kenneka stumbling through the hotel at 3:20 a.m. She left the lobby, descended to the basement, and wandered into a kitchen. There, she stumbled into a walk-in freezer, which was inexplicably left open. Once inside, the door closed behind her, and in her intoxicated state she couldn't reopen it, being trapped inside, and ultimately froze to death. At 12:48 a.m. on Sunday, nearly 24 hours after she went missing, Kenneka's body was found inside the freezer, although her death was ruled an accident. The incident raised questions about the hotel's handling of the situation. Many believe that if the hotel had allowed Kenneka's mother to review the footage sooner, they might have found her before it was too late. There are now multiple theories about what happened. Some believe it was a tragic accident, while others suspect foul play, with theories suggesting her friends were involved and it was a homicide instead. These theories are bolstered by new footage, including clips showing what appears to be hotel staff pushing a cart that looks like it has a human body on it to the freezer. So, Was it a drunken mishap or a well-executed homicide? Let me know what you think in the comments. And there you have it. 3 bone-chilling tales straight from the heart of hotel horrors. And remember, hotels can hold secrets far beyond the lobby doors. If you've enjoyed exploring these eerie mysteries with us, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay curious, and may the mysteries of the supernatural continue to captivate your imagination. This is Supernatural Secrets signing off.